Republican Andy Biggs in the U.S. House of Representatives, the chair, by the way, of the House Freedom Caucus, which is, some of the more extreme members of the Republican Party. But anyway, Biggs sent a letter this week to Kevin McCarthy, copy of the letter sent to CNN, where Biggs actually claimed that Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger were somehow spies for the Democratic Party, and therefore McCarthy needed to kick them out of the Republican conference in the House. Here's an excerpt from this letter. Congresswoman Cheney and Congressman Kinzinger are two spies for the Democrats that we currently invite to the meetings despite our inability to trust them. He goes on, we cannot trust these members to sit in our Republican conference meeting while we plan our defense against the Democrats. Okay, hold up now. I'm going to get back to that little statement in just a moment, but let's talk about the first fact. They're spies. They're spies for the Democrats because they're serving on the January 6th Select Committee. And yes, Liz Cheney this week did get promoted, I think, to like vice chair or something, so she's got a lot of power on that committee now. But Republicans, you had your chance to put people on the committee. McCarthy was the one who decided to screw around, try to get Jim Jordan on there, and then he got pissed when Pelosi said no, and he pulled all his members off. So you can't act like having these two Republicans on the committee is a big deal. What you're really mad about is that these are two Republicans that don't blindly follow Donald Trump. Even though they vote with Republicans more than 90% of the time, they are hardcore, deep down Republicans at heart. You still don't want them there because this one issue, love of Donald Trump, you guys don't share. There's no room for anyone in the Republican Party if you do not have this blind, undying loyalty to Donald Trump. It's sickening, but it's a cult. It's not a political party. It is a cult. So we're stuck with what we got. But let's get to the second part of that statement I read. We cannot trust these members to sit in our Republican conference meetings while we plan our defense against the Democrats. Well, I guess it's nice to know what Republicans are actually working on, right? I mean, hell, they've only been promising us an alternative healthcare plan for 11 years now that's never materialized, but they're not working on that. They're not working on infrastructure. They're not working on environmental issues, sure as hell. They're not working on the student loan debt crisis. Hell, they're not even working on national security, which is what Republicans are all about these days. No, they're only working on defending themselves against the Democrats, which really just means attacking Democrats and not letting any of their initiatives go through. That's what Congress is working on. And to me, that's a bigger part of this letter than Biggs's bizarre comment that they're spies for the Democrats. The Republicans are doing nothing, folks. They're doing absolutely nothing for the United States of America. That should have been the headline on this story, because he admits it in the damn letter. Just like Mitch McConnell admitted it months ago in front of a camera, like, my only job is to make sure that Biden fails. They have no interest in leading. They have no interest in putting forth actual legislation that's going to do anything for this country, good or bad at this point. You know, we can't even get them to put forward bad legislation. They can't put forward any legislation because they're that incompetent and they're that tribal. Their only goal is to make sure the Democrats fail. And then, of course, once they get power back, which could happen next year in the midterms, they're probably going to work on a tax cut package for the wealthy elite because that's all they know how to do. It's literally the only thing the Republican Party does at the national level anymore. At the state level, there's, of course, tax cuts and, voter suppression. Your occasional oppression of people that are not white males, too, but that's all they can do. And Biggs is admitting that in his letter. McCarthy, if you're going to kick anybody out of the party, how about you kick the morons out? Because I'm sure you're probably not happy that he has this letter that's now been made public that shows that Republicans aren't doing anything for the American public. To me, I don't know, that seems like a bigger sin than not blindly loving Donald Trump.